On this episode of the Juicebox Heroes, we have our Christmas wish list. So let's see what the guys have in store on the Juicebox Heroes. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. It is the Sunday night episode, the Juicebox Heroes. I'm one of your hosts, PK. As always, the Dubon Fan Club president, Chris Moreno, is with us. Bryles is not able to make it. He'll be back for the next episode. But hope you guys all had a fantastic Thanksgiving break, holiday, spend time with family and friends. I know I had a great one. Chris, how was yours, sir?
Man, it was good, and again, thanks to you guys for holding it down. Yeah, man, we had family in town, and then they left on Friday, so then it was the explosion of Christmas stuff that went down this weekend. But yeah, it was a good time. We're officially now in, I guess, the Christmas season, so there's no ducking it. It is here. We're in it. But yeah, man, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. We hosted here at the house for the first time. Did a turkey. Here at the house for the first time. Only thing I was worried about was it being a what's it called? National Lampoon's Christmas turkey. I did not want to cut into it and then it just kind of completely dry out and only be skin. But it came out really good, man. We had a good time. And then of course you backed it up with Friday night. Texas ruining A&M's perfect season, knocking them out of the SEC championship game. So all in all, it was a fantastic Thanksgiving break. Now it's back to the grind, back to work tomorrow. But I still got a few hours, man. So all in all, it was good. So let's get into this thing. We talked a little bit before we went on about, let's just be honest, like what were we going to talk about, right? It's slow. It's the off season. There's not really a lot of reports going on. A few things that we discussed last episode, me and Bryles did about, some early rumors, right? Fromber possibly to the Mets. Right. We talked about Dylan Cease signing his 7-year, $210 million contract with the Blue Jays. Right. So what we decided to come up with is an Astros wish list. What if we were the GM, what would we be wishing for this offseason to go into 2026? So let's start with you, Chris. What's your priority on your number one item on your wish list for this offseason?
I'm probably going to be like most people and say my number one priority on my letter to Santa is going to be starting pitching. Now, I understand we've seen guys like Dylan Cease just sign. I believe Ryan Hensley, who used to pitch with the Cardinals, who's now a converted reliever back to a starter. He just signed a 2-year deal with Baltimore, so he's kind of off the list. I mean, so like you're going to have to, I don't want to say get creative. I do feel like you can go and sign, one of these. Unfortunately, it may not be an upper tier pitcher. I think there's still Ranger Suarez still available, Michael King still available. But like I think you're gonna have to get kind of creative. I mean, whether that's fishing from some of your minor league players, sending them in a trade, but yeah, I mean, like it's for me, it's got to be started pitching. You need something more than like you've got to build depth. You've got to have, like let's be honest. As much as we all kind of like, broke up, had a bad breakup with Fromber. I mean, the guy was damn near penciled in for 200 innings every year. I mean, so now on top of all the injuries that you were recovering from last season, now you've got to make up those 200 innings. So you kind of pitching wise, you kind of have your work cut out for you.
Yeah, sorry, man, I was muted.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So yeah, look, yeah, I think starting pitching is going to be the main thing. I mean, you look at our rotation right now, right? You have Hunter Brown, Christian Javier, Ronel Blanco is going to be out majority of the season. Would come back off an elbow. You have Arrighetti, Wisniewski is coming back off an elbow. That's 4 guys. Pencil in a potential blue ball as your number 5, right? Possibly, depending on how he does in the spring. Who am I leaving out? Oh, we have McCullers, whatever they decide to do with him. But really, we don't expect Fromber to be back. I mean, let's just be real, right? Once he crossed up Cesar Salazar, if you go back and look at our previous episodes, I mean, I'm done with the shenanigans with that guy, right? I think also with Dylan Cease setting the market at 7 years, 210, right? Fromber is going to command us more than what Crane's going to want to pay. I mean, even if he wants a 6-year deal, right? I mean, Crane doesn't really do 6-year deals. We've seen that with all of our players. So let's say that Fromber's gone. We did sign this guy from the KBO, and I'm blanking on his first name. His last name is Wise. He went like 16-9.
Is it official?
I thought it was. Pretty sure it was.
I know that the last that I read that they were close or they were in negotiations or something. But all right, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. So let's talk about the KBO for a minute, because H-Town Wheelhouse had a pretty good post about it, and really, I thought it was pretty good. So the KBO, right, Korean Baseball League, KBL, whatever they call it, right? Really good league, right? We've seen some good players come out there. Obviously, a lot of American guys will go over there and play also if they need to. But it's kind of like if there was a league between AAA and the majors, that would be the Korean Baseball League, right? Like, they're pretty good, still need a little bit of development. Mid-90s fastballs for the pitchers is not the high velocity that we're used to seeing, over here, right? But I believe he went 16-9. I think he had a mid-3s ERA. I mean, pretty good, right? If you go into the history of the Astros organization when they sign pitchers, let's say Kikuchi, for instance, from last season, right? That was a big fail for me at the time, until the second half of the season when we had him, and then he turned it around and he flipped that into a multi-year contract with Anaheim, right? So, and that's just one example. So I'd be curious to see how, once you get him into the lab, see what you can work on him with, to make him even more productive. So, and I'm not saying that's your answer. Michael King from San Diego, right? He's out there. I mean, a lot of guys, he's out there, but I feel like he's more in the price range of what the Astros would want to go after, right? I mean, of course, Ranger Suarez would be a fantastic addition, to this team. I think he's going to command, I mean, we talked about last week. I think Bleacher Report had like a 5-year contract on him projected. I think he's probably going to be a little bit higher. Maybe he might want that 6 year. But yeah, my number one item on my list of Santa is definitely starting pitching. And I know it sounds kind of like, it's a broken record, but it really is. It really is. I mean, that's what you need. We saw all season last year how important starting pitching was, how many different combinations of our rotation we had to go through because of injuries, right? All the guys up and down. And thank God we had the guys that were able to come up: Colton Gordon, Brandon Walter, Jason Costanza, Jason Alexander, just to name a few, right? So depth at starting pitching, another starting pitcher for sure has to be added to this roster. That's my wish list for number one. All right. So going into your second item on your Santa's list, what are you looking for?
Yeah, real quick. So Weiss's ERA was 2.87 in the Korean League. And of course, like, I was just kind of here when I first read it, I was kind of thinking, of course, leave it to the Astros to sign the one Korean baseball player who's not Korean. So
that's right.
Yeah. So excuse me. My number 2 has to be an outfielder. I mean, like, I know we've been over the last couple of weeks, we've been hearing the rumors about the Astros, and 37 other teams are interested in Brandon Donovan, but man, I would really like to, get that one reeled in and get that done. I don't want to see Altuve in left field. I don't want to see any more of these infielders that you convert to outfielders. I think you let Cam Smith start in right field, continue to let him develop. I my only thing about trading Jake Myers is that, again, like, I know you're probably going to see some run time between Zach Cole and Jacob Melton, which I'm okay with, man. Let these younger guys play. I mean, but, like, I feel like you need that one solid outfielder to kind of offset everything else. So if you're not going to if you're going to stay with Jake Myers, okay, whatever, I'm good with that. But I think you need that cornerstone, and it doesn't even have to be a cornerstone. I feel like you need that lock in, dead set, every day start in left fielder. I feel like that's what you need. You can't just have three outfielders that you're mixing that you're platooning all season. Otherwise, you're going to end up repeating what you did last year and watch everybody else play in the playoffs. So for me, it's definitely an outfielder. What about you, PK?
Yeah, I'm again really not trying to follow your lead. It legitimately is an outfielder, center field specifically. I think, and again, we've talked about it before, where it's the same with Dubon, right? Dubon had the highest value that guy's going to have, right? He was, going to make, he got paid more money to go to Atlanta, right? I mean, so I say that to say that Jake Myers has the highest value that he's probably ever going to have as a major league outfielder, right? You can move him and acquire some capital back. My ultimate wish list would be to have Ketel Marte out there in center
Oh,
field, right?
you know,
That would
real
be
quick,
my
you said
ultimate.
you said Ketel Marte, man. I want to say like 3 or 4 days ago, I was like, man, it's like I'm gonna, I'm gonna make a post, just to kind of get things talking, kind of get some stuff. And I made a post saying, hey, would Astro fans be okay with a Ketel Marte for Christian Walker trade? And boy, did I get lit up. Oh my God, you don't know baseball. That's such a terrible trade. Why don't you trade for Otani? Man, I guess
All
apparently
right,
like I didn't really, do my homework. I guess Ketel Marte is like 2 or 3 levels above Christian Walker. I didn't think it was that out of left field, but apparently people thought that I had lost my mind, and Ketel Marte is basically on the same level as Otani. So go ahead. I thought that
really?
would be funny because you brought up Ketel Marte. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
now
I
granted,
don't.
I'm sure that, in that trade, the Astros probably have to, throw in a prospect or eat some money.
Yeah, you're gonna
But
have to.
I just was kind of floored by like, why don't you just go ask for Otani while you're at it? And I'm like, man, I'm not
Not
saying
the
that I'm
not the
like
same
Brian
level,
Kenny
man.
or any of these guys, but I don't think I have Ketel Marte as the same level as Otani. But that's just me. But hey, go ahead. I don't want to take
Yeah,
up
no,
too much of
I completely
your
agree.
time.
Although Cotel Marte is a good player, he is not an Otani level. I mean, we're watching, and I don't want to talk much about it, but we're watching our generation's era of Babe Ruth, right? I mean, that's what we're watching
Yeah,
every day the guy plays. So he is not on the same level as that. And just a little bit, just to go until down the rabbit hole with the Cattell possibility. If you move him, you include Walker because now you have Paredes playing first base. You're probably going to have to give a prospect up, like you said, right? But you have a guy in Cattell that can play outfield. He can also play the infield, right? He's a cheetah. He's got a good bat, right? So you're
he
upgrading
had
over
28
Jake
bombs
Myers.
last year.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're upgrading over your center field position, which if you play ball like most of us have, the defensive positions up the middle are your most important positions. Your catcher, shortstop, second base, center field, right? So Jake Myers, although it's a great defender, this year was his best major league season average wise at the plate until he got hurt with the calf, right? So yeah, so my priority number two would be center fielder specifically. Right, you're going to have Cam Smith and right. You're probably going to have some combination of Melton and Cole out and left. Jordan's probably going to get some games there and appearances out there. Leave Altuve at second base, right? We talked about that all last season about his splits when he plays second compared to left with Altuve. His splits are a lot better when he's playing second base. So right now, where we're sitting, number one item is starting pitching, and starting pitching. Number two is center fielder for me specifically, or outfielder specifically a center fielder for me. So that's where I'm at so far on my list. Let's move on to what is our third wish list item for Santa?
All right, third wish list item for Santa. I'm asking for a power arm out of the bullpen. Now, you have guys like Okert, and I'm pretty sure Okert's throwing like 94, 93, 94. You've got Brian King. Parker Mushinski's gone. I forgot who we just got signed by, but man, I feel like if you could go and get yourself another power arm out of the bullpen, basically that takes over the seventh inning, you have insert power arm here in the seventh, Abreu in the eighth, Hader in the ninth. You shorten that game by 3 innings, and that way you're not asking these guys. Let's say you do sign somebody like Weiss, or you go sign some of these other guys, or you're asking AJ Blueball, or you're asking Christian Javier, you're asking Lance McCullers. You only need them now to go 6. So I feel like if you can kind of do that big power 3 out of the back end of your bullpen, I think that would definitely, along with wish list item 1 and 2, would definitely go a long way of turning the team back around to where it needs to be and have us watching playoff baseball in 2026.
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is for item number 4, I'm going to start because it's so far 1, 2, and 3. I'm following your lead, not on purpose. So yeah, bullpen arm,
Fair.
right? Bullpen arm, number 3, and I'll go a little bit further when you talked about getting a 7th inning guy, to complete that bridge. You've got Bennett Sousa, who's coming back off an injury, who was, pitching pretty damn good. And for me, it was out of nowhere, honestly. It just was, right? But he was pitching pretty damn good until he got hurt. Now, if you need a big right-handed arm in that bullpen. Now, you did re-sign Enil De Los Santos, right? He was great for us coming over from Atlanta until towards the end of the season. He started to get rocked a little bit. So that's your righty back there with Abreu. But you have Okert, King, and Hader and Sousa. That's 4 lefties with De Los Santos as a righty.
A lot of lefties.
With De Los Santos as a righty and Abreu as a righty. So you need a big right-handed power arm, right? So, yeah, I'm at the get a big arm right hand thrower. And to your point, you can shorten the game by an extra inning potentially, right? If these guys, can't get out the 5th, right? You have Blue Ball, if like you said, Blue Ball, if he's not in their starting rotation, right? If he's a long relief guy, he can bridge it. But you could have Bennett insert guy X, right? Then King, Abreu, and Hader, right? And then Okert can, as long as I don't see Caleb Ort, I'm okay. Like me personally, right? As long as Caleb Ort's not in there. But dude, we need more bullpen help, like we do, right? Okert was pitching fairly good, right? And then he hit a pretty good rough patch, right? And to me, he was just starting to get shelled a little bit more. Dubin was really up and down all season last year, right? He looked really good or not so much. Anytime you see Nick, what was the other guy? Nick Hernandez, was that his name?
Yeah.
Like anytime you see him pitching, like the game's not in control, right? The game's not in the Astros' favor, right? Or Nick Martinez, that's what it was, Martinez. But either way, big right hand arm, another one, 3 lefties, 3 righties in that bullpen, just throwing gas like that. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. So that's item number 3. Now you're gonna get a little bit deeper into the roster, unless you have anything else, Chris, on the bullpen.
No, again, I think we pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think we need another righty because as of right now, we're so left-handed dominant out of the bullpen. So I'm asking for a power arm, throws 100 plus, kind of basically sets the table for Abreu, who he'll set the table for Hader. So I'm good with that.
All right, so let's go with the lineup because now we're talking. Now number 4 for me is just going to be more depth, right? Position player depth, right? That's what I'm looking at. So if we look at our lineup all last season, right? You were heavy right-hand hitting. Who was our only lefty? Caratini, but he's a switch hitter.
Jordan when he was healthy.
Then
you brought in Jesus Sanchez. But see, now you have your 2 young outfielders. Zach Cole's a lefty.
Exactly.
Jacob Melton's a lefty.
And look, you can't keep them both up if they're not going to play, right? Like you can't. I think probably Melton has the inside track, I would think, right? To Cole. Cole shot through the minor league system last year. He shot right through it. I think he spent what did Garrett say, like 11 games, right? Down in Sugar Land, I think that's what it was, maybe something along those lines. Even he was raking.
Yeah.
You'd like to hope that trend continues with him raking up at the show, but just like we saw with Cam Smith, right? These are professional pitchers, professional coaching staffs. They are going to key in on your tendencies and they're going to pitch you the way that they need to get you out, right? That's why we saw the inconsistency with Cam throughout the season, right? So if you leave Melton up, that's a lefty. If you have Jesus Sanchez on this roster, that's another lefty outfielder. Jordan, lefty. The rest is right. I mean, you have more balance, right? I don't know what we're gonna do with Jesus. I don't think the return on what we got for him or expecting from him was nowhere near what we expected, right? I mean, he went 0 for like 27, I think, at one point, 21, something like that. And then I know he had like a 5-game hit against Baltimore like late in the season. That was kind of his. It was either Baltimore or Boston, one of the two. He had like a 5-hit game, right? And it's like, okay, like this guy can do it, but it's just you need more. You're going to need more depth. I mean, the lefties for sure, and the batting lineup is good, but they're not proven. Jacob Melton still has a lot to prove. Zach Cole has a lot to prove. So your proven left-hand batter in there is Jordan Alvarez. Like that's your proven lefty, right? So this Allen kid that we got from Atlanta, right? Like we all know that his bat is about the same, a little bit worse statistically than Dubon, but he's more of a defensive player, right? So I think you're going to need. I mean, you're going to need probably a middle. Allen's your middle infield replacement for utility. He can cover down on short and second, right? If they bring Caratini back, that's your backup first baseman, right? Let's assume that Paredes is playing first because Correa is going to play third, obviously, right? So I still think you need. You're always going to need more outfielders. So I think like more depth in the outfield for me is probably my number 4 item. Outfield depth, major league ready outfield depth. So I would say.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I mean, because you have the mixture of lefties. They're all just I don't want to call them unproven talent, but they're unproven talent. I mean, Jacob Melton was starting to kind of turn things around. Then he got hurt. You told us about Zach Cole, how he skyrocketed through the minors. He got about 20, 25 at bats, and then the season ended. I mean, I guess on one side, I mean, it's a good problem to have. You got a bunch of young kids who need to play. I mean, but on the other side, it's like, okay, well, it's kind of you've kind of created. I mean, we still got guys we haven't even talked about. You still got Zach DeZenzo. You still got, I'm trying to think who else.
Whitcomb's down there, ready
yeah,
to
you
go.
got Whitcomb. I mean, so I guess you're going into. I think the winter meetings are what, next week. I think they're next week, right? So. And again, I know that it is like you don't want to deplete your minor league system, but like you have pieces to move, and these are not like I'm not saying they're going to move Shea Whitcomb and your backup catcher at the Space Cowboys for Ketel Marte or Ketel Otani. Some people
Ketel
want to refer
Otani,
him as.
you're right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like you have depth. I mean, like the big question I have is what's going to come of Bryce Matthews. I mean, because they've kind of created a logjam there at shortstop, second base. I heard a rumor that they were potentially thinking about moving him to center field. I mean, but again, it's another infielder that you've now changed position to an outfield position. I mean, they definitely have their work cut out for them. I mean, but you have pieces to move. I know people from what I've heard, people have asked about a lot about Bryce Matthews. People have asked about Walker Yonick. I mean, but I feel like if your goal is to win, you're going to have to part with those younger kids down in the minors. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I hate to say this because he's a hometown kid, but if you're talking about moving a Walker Yonick or a Bryce Matthews, I think I'm okay with Bryce being that piece, right? I mean, Walker Yonick is mashing the ball, and he throws out runners, something that our major league catcher doesn't do, right?
Either.
That is correct. I mean, hell, sometimes they don't even throw down, right? So I think, I've seen some of the rumors include Bryce Matthews. I've only seen like one or two with possibly Walker Yannick. So I think Bryce Matthews would be the more sexy pick, for a piece to move because he's closer to being major league ready. But look, if you're gonna want to attract these or make these moves for major league ready players like a Ketel Marte, you're gonna have to include prospects. There's just no way around it. There's just no way around it.
No, I agree. It sucks. I mean, but I agree with you. I think Bryce Matthews is the sexier pick. He's the only Astro right now that's in the top 100 as far as prospect ranking. I mean, so he's definitely your best chip. I know some of your other guys are still way, way, way many years away. I mean, but like even like if you have to end up trading somebody like Zach Cole, like again, it just depends on what you're trying to do, and if you're a couple of lower level minor league players, and then what's holding you up from getting a front end pitcher or a good pitcher is Zach Cole, then I think you have to pull that trigger. You got to make that trade. If you getting somebody like, man, I don't even know who's like people are, or let's say Sandy Alcantara. That's been the guy that everyone's been talking about being traded this offseason. Or let's say the guy Joe Ryan from the Twins. If you have a package and it's a bunch of, double A, single A kids, and Bryce Matthews is what's stopping you from getting Joe Ryan, or Zach Cole is what's stopping you from getting Joe Ryan, make that trade. Pull the trigger, make the trade. Go ahead and get you that starting pitcher that's going to help anchor your rotation for the next 3 to 4 years. If Zach Cole's that guy stopping you from getting Brendan Donovan, pull the trigger. I mean, if like I said, if our window is to win now, and the window's always open, then Jim's got to he's got to start putting his money where his mouth is. I mean, because and again, I'm not saying he didn't offer Dylan Cease 8 years for $700 million, so he's a bum. I mean, I don't want them to overpay either to get stuck with a guy for 4 years that he's eating $40 million a year, who's not gonna, I mean, we were losing our shit over Abreu, and we only had him on contract for for a year and a half by the time we released him. So
Yeah, absolutely.
imagine way overpaying for someone like Dylan Cease, like 8 years at $35 million a year. Those last 5 years, let's just say he completely falls off, and now everyone's really losing their mind. Of oh my god, I can't believe Jim Crane went and made that sign in or whatever. So I'm all for it. I mean, if you got to move minor league pieces, move minor league pieces. I want to watch the Astros in the playoffs. I don't. It wasn't fun watching other teams, watching other people stress out about playoff games. I want that to be
Well,
us.
it's also not fun to do podcasts in October when your team's not doing anything.
Yeah, it's like,
You
oh, I
know,
can't wait for these playoffs to be over, so we have stuff to somewhat talk about.
to somewhat talk about instead of coming on here and talking about the other damn teams that are playing, right? So,
yeah.
Look, I think you're going to have to move some pieces. You're just going to have to if you're going to want to make these, get any kind of MLB ready trade position player for. You're just going to have to, right? And you've got some depth down there that you can move, some movable pieces that are there for you. Before we get out of here, seeing a lot of run on a JV reunion. 1 year deal, 13 million, something like that, 10 to 13 million, somewhere in there, right? And I'm kind of seeing, it's kind of mixed. The reaction is kind of mixed, right? Some of them is half, let's just say half for conversation's sake. Half of them are saying, yeah, bring his ass back, right? Bring him back, on a 1 year deal. We know that he had a rough start to his last season with San Francisco. I mean, he was over for like the first 7 or 8 starts, not good. And then hit the last quarter to half of the season. I mean, kind of turn the clock back a little bit to, older, old JV, right? Just a lot better, ending to a season. So my question to you is, would you bring him back for 1 year at like 13 million?
Yes. And at first, don't get me wrong. At first, I was like, "Oh, JV, it's over. Stop. Let's close the book on this." But I think what we learned last season is that you can never have too much starting pitching. So And like I said, you bring in JV at 1 year, let's say it's 14. But you're not expecting this isn't 2019 or 2017 or 2021 where you're bringing JV in and he's supposed to be this 195 inning to 200 inning bulldog that's the ace of your staff. You could tell him,
Yeah.
"Hey JV, here's what I need you to do. If you can eat 130 to 150 innings, be our number 4 or number 5, I'm good with that. I'm 100% good with that. Maybe he pitches better being somewhere he's familiar with. I am not now, but again, however, if that's our only move, then it's a complete failure of an off season. If that's our only move to bring back JV to be your number 4, I think that would be a basically the same as getting a lump of coal in your stocking.
That would be, you wouldn't talk about causing some uproar. I mean, like if that is your only move, signing a, how old is he? 40 something. I mean,
43,
he's
I think. I think it's
43,
like
right?
43.
Signing a guy for 1 year, 13, 14 million to be, no higher than your number 3 pitcher to get 15 starts in a season. Like you said, 135 to 150 innings, right? That would really suck. That is a perfect analogy or metaphor, however, whatever the damn word is, right? Of getting a lump of coal in your stocking, if that's the only move, right? So I'm on the cool, sign a number 2 or number 3 pitcher first, and
Yeah.
then go after JV on that deal. That's where I'm at. Let him be the second pitcher that you sign, right? Which you have to address your top of the rotation, assuming that Frommer is not coming back, which I really don't see a way that he does, right? So let JV be the second starting pitcher you get, and go from there. So that was fun, man. That's a good wish list. Now we just got to see if everything comes through.
Yeah.
I got to be good from
Yeah.
now until end of December and see what happens.
Sounds like we need to get our act together. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's going to take it up for this episode, man. We're going to be back on Thursday. I'm assuming Bryles will be with us. But I hope you guys, again, had a fantastic Thanksgiving break. Back to the grind tomorrow. Get your Christmas shopping done, man. It's a few more weeks until Christmas. But until then, this is the Juicebox Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, BK. That's the Dubon Fan Club President, Chris Moreno. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We'll talk to y'all on Thursday. Have a good week. Hook 'em, baby. That's for Bryles.
Yeah, there you go. I guess I should probably go ahead and check to see how my fantasy team's doing.
I think you're winning. I pulled out a dub this week. It might get me into the